Hello, everyone. How we doing today? Adam here from Three Cat Radio, and today we have one of the hottest stars coming up in today's scene right now. He is the Rat King. It's Tu Byt. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, I'm good. You all right?
I'm fantastic, mate. Fantastic. Not too bad myself.
Lovely.
What have you been up to recently? Well, you've been working.
Um, I had an essay to do at uni last week that I was telling you about.
Hmm.
It was all about football banning orders. I can tell you so much about football banning orders. I know absolutely nothing about football. Football banning orders, though. Um, so I did that essay, and then I've got like a week free from uni now, so I'm just trying to get down to training as much as I can. Especially 'cause I kind of had like 3 weeks indoors almost. I caught COVID over Christmas, had to self isolate on Christmas Day, which is a bit shit.
Yeah.
And then literally Jenny came and picked me up the day I finished isolating. And then the day we got back, she tested positive. And obviously there's like an incubation period. So it's not even like she caught it off me. She caught it and then by chance happened to cross. And so that I isolated another week. It was just like the
Brutal.
most unfortunate series of events. Yeah.
That's the wow. I that sucks. That genuinely, I genuinely. Wow. Okay.
Well, it was rough, but I'm out now. It's all right. I'm free now at training, having
I
fun.
was I was gonna say I understand how you feel, but you had it worse because I'm gonna assume you caught it from the Christmas do. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
I think so. I'm guessing so. But like it's so weird because you can't know for sure,
Yeah,
especially when you do lateral flows and they show up negative because you're in an incubation period, but you've still got it.
yeah. That's what I was because I was asymptomatic because I caught it over Christmas as well, Christmas and New Year as well. And it was one of them where it 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 is what it is, but I was asymptomatic, so when I got the test back, I was like, oh, well, that's shit.
How were symptoms for you? Because personally, for me, I was expecting a lot worse. Like
I
I've had
think,
worse colds.
yeah, I think this current variant, I think, spreads quicker, but the symptoms aren't as bad. I was symptomless. I was asymptomatic, but at the same time, I was so exhausted. The exhaustion hit me like a brick. I was
I,
sleeping
I
12 hours plus.
I wasn't sleeping more, but I definitely felt out of it.
Mm.
Like when you've drank a lot and you're not quite hungover, but you're not quite all there.
You're a bit fragile.
Yeah, like that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I know that. That's kind of how I felt after the Christmas do because I got um more drunk than I care to admit, and I ended up like drinking almost a gallon of water to sober myself up. And then I stopped at my mates, and trains were cancelled all day, so I got an Uber
Oh
from
god,
Manchester to Wigan.
that's rough.
40 odd quid, which to be fair isn't bad when you think about it.
Is there not a bus that goes?
I I don't know, but if it was, I was at that stage where I was like,
Yeah,
hey,
I
40
guess
odd
when
quid
you
to get straight home or a bus that take so long.
yeah, if I'm hungover, the last thing I want to do is get on a bus full of people.
Yeah, I was happy with just the Uber and done. Just get me home. I was done at that point.
Yeah, that's that. There's nothing worse when you're hungover and you're in somebody else's house and you like haven't got your own comforts.
That's exactly how I felt. Exactly. I left really early and they're like, you could have stayed. I was like, I could have. And then don't get me wrong, I couldn't appreciate it anymore for them giving me the place to stay. But you're exactly right that when I'm drunk and hungover, I want my own space.
Yeah, yeah, I got that.
Yeah. So we've kind of veered off topic a bit though. um, yeah, COVID talk. Welcome to current times. So, where did they? I could ask where the Rat King gimmick came from, but I could also, in that vein, where did Two Bit come from? Because It's different.
It's different, yeah. So originally, Two Bit, the whole premise of Two Bit was just kind of like a funny little character. And for context, I'd started wrestling training at 13. So this was like a thing that I came up when I was 14. I used to like Hollywood Undead, and if you know Charlie Sheen, he's got like the bandana and the hood, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And we were at training and we were talking just about like different gimmicks and all that sort of side of it. And somebody was on about like a gangster sort of gimmick, but like they've been hanging around the strip clubs and they've started dealing stuff and that sort of side. And I was like, oh, well, what about like a chav? And so I started doing this whole chav thing. And the name 2-Bit came from I was playing GTA 5 one day, and there's a bit where Michael calls Franklin a 2-Bit gangster gone 3-Bit. And I was like, oh, 2-Bit. And I was like, because it's and it was like kind of inspired by like Tupac and like famous gangster names that like a little chav would be inspired by. Years later, I think I found I'm much more comfortable in the whole Rat King thing. I've kind of binned off the whole chav thing. And so with the Rat King, we came up with it. It was me, Chris Brooker, Danny Martin, and Ethan Allen that we were just like picking ideas about and stuff at training one day. And there was a load of different names we had ideas about, and it was all sort of similar. I think one of them was like something to do with a cockroach, like all that sort of stuff. And then lockdown hit, and so I gave it like a proper long thought. And over lockdown, like I proper worked on like working out a backstory if I wanted one, and like trying to really understand it. And I'd settled on Rat King. And I think the best way to explain what Rat King means to me right now is so I got like in a big argument when I was 17. And during that argument, there was something quite personal said. And I got very, very angry. To the point where I showed my teeth like a dog. But like I didn't even mean to do it. Like naturally my body just reacted by showing my teeth. I look back on that, I'm like, what? what am I showing my teeth for? But that like animalistic, stripped back, like just that side of you, that's what Rat King, like everyone has a little Rat King in them sometimes. Sometimes I get on the bus and I've had a stressful day and I'm a bit peeved off and the bus is full of people and then there's people having conversations and it just angers me. Do you ever get that? Like you're unreasonably annoyed.
Yes, especially on the bus. That's why if earphones or headphones or something isn't working and I have to listen to inane conversation about something I really couldn't care less about, it does get you angry. It gets under your skin and you can't explain it.
That's Rat King right there. It's like that stripped back, unreasonable anger. And because I'm a smaller guy, I'm like 5'5", I can't wrestle like a big guy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not like I think I'm good athleticism wise, but I'm not to the point of like, doing lucha stuff and doing all these flips and that. That doesn't really fit me and my strengths. So I do get angry and I get feral because I need to in order to win matches.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It does have that feral sort of aspect to it. And it definitely comes across in the ring because your style is very much like that, like sort of pit bull mentality.
It's a good way of describing it, yeah. Pit bull terrier sort of thing, yeah. Little goblin man.
It's great though, like because I remember the first time it came out, it's like Futureshock, and I was like, oh, okay, who's this? Because I at that time didn't know who you were at that time. I soon found out who you were. It was fucking brutal.
Which match was this?
Oh, bloody hell. Shit.
Was that the one that was in the middle of lockdown?
Possibly. I remember because it was at Futureshock at Stockport Guildhall, and we were like to the left of the entrance. Okay. So I remember you coming out just staring. I was like, oh, yeah.
I remember I did the one show. And it was sort of in between the transition from the whole chav thing to the Rat King thing. So I was still kind of doing the chav bits.
I think.
But like I look back at that match now and I'm like, Like, oh, I'm so much happier with where I am now with everything.
It's the process,
That's
though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's the great thing about it. It's a process, and I mean, you've got a lot more experience than me. I've trained for a bit. We've seen each other at promo classes, and yeah, that's one of the things I do actually really love about it. It's a process, and you're never really at, no matter where you are in your career as a wrestler, you're never always at that final destination of character.
Yeah, I'd say it's like that for everything. Yeah,
Mm.
you're always working towards something.
Yeah, yeah. But it keeps it interesting. I said because they had Clash on, Nathan Williams. I just said his name, full name on the podcast. Fantastic. I'm pretty sure he's got that on his Twitter anyway. Um, yeah, when it comes to wrestling, you're pretty much only limited to your imagination.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
oh,
sometimes it depends on how many flips you can do, I guess. But
well, yeah, I can't see myself doing many flips, to be perfectly honest with you.
yeah,
I can't. I'm 6 foot, and well, I don't think that really means much, to be honest. But I'm as cumbersome as they come. My agility is not necessarily up there with the likes of, say, Sonny Durson. So yeah,
you'll get there.
looking forward to it. Talking about your style, you have a very technical but again hard hitting kind of style. Was that always something you were looking to like lean towards as your style?
I'm in quite a weird position in wrestling in that I started when I was 13. So like growing up, I didn't grow up watching wrestling completely as a fan. I always grew up watching wrestling but also doing it. So it's really weird dynamic. And so like growing up, it was very much I'd watch WWE because that's what we all do as kids. We didn't know anything else existed. And when I was younger, Rey Mysterio was my favorite. Like I loved Rey Mysterio and Lucha, like Lucha style and like Ranas and all that stuff. Insane. I loved it. Like on Create a Superstar on the games and everything. I'd always put a mask on the wrestler, and I could not understand for the life of me why nobody else wore masks. I was like, why isn't this company full of people with masks? Masks are so cool.
They are though.
I mean, ironically, I do not wear a mask now, but little Edward would be very angry. Yeah, so for a long time I wanted to do lucha stuff, but this is talking like when I was a teenager, as I was growing up, and then as like I developed my gimmick and character and everything, and also realized that I'm not quite as good at flips as I wanted to be, and that sort of style, and also it didn't really fit. I kind of then went towards this more hybrid style. I think I just prefer it, that it makes sense. And definitely now I prefer like that sort of pure style wrestling. I enjoy watching that a lot more. That interests me a lot more. So does a lot of other styles, but that in particular does.
Yeah, it's always interesting seeing what different styles interest different people, because I'm a firm believer that there's something out there for every wrestling fan. Definitely a firm believer of that. I mean, it's so versatile, and but your style is different. Though you go for the technical like submissions and things like that, but with your gimmick, I it's so hard hitting. It's like you're making your opponent suffer for the sake of just being in the same ring as you. It's great. It's very, very hard hitting and very in your face and rough, but it's very engaging at the same time. It does work. But yeah, it's interesting to me because so I've got here, and I'm pretty sure my viewers are pretty bored of me saying this, but one of my favorites of all time is Ridgeway. And I'd say your style's not too dissimilar, but there's enough discrepancies to very much differentiate between the two. Like, I think his is a bit more what's the word they use for it now? I forgot. Um like calculated or something like that. And yours
Okay.
like more like in your face, like I'm gonna like murder you, basically. I'm gonna make you suffer.
Bit more opportunistic rather than like I
Yeah,
go in with half a plan, whereas Riddy might go in with a full plan. I go in with half a plan, see what happens, and then I see, oh, you've just hurt your leg. I'm gonna bend it in half.
there it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, and you can see it like, as soon as they've hurt themselves, like that little glint in your eye, and it's like, oh god, there we go, and they're fucked. And it's great.
I like.
And oh, so sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I like having them moments.
It's
Like
great.
I just like moments in wrestling. Just where you're a moment. It's not even a move, just a moment. You're like, oh my god. Whether it's
Yeah,
like a standoff or whether it's like a they've hurt your leg and you're going, oh, Two Bit loves it when they hurt the legs.
yeah. That like, Vince says like wrestling is about moments, and he is correct in that regard. Like wrestling is 100% about moments, and you could have the best match in the world, but that that moment, it's like little things, like they're the things that play back when you're going home. Like they're the things that play back in your mind. Those little moments, like someone holding the belt up high and those standoffs, or um, someone going for a high risk move, missing, damage your leg, and then you're straight in there straight away. Moments like that like make the story of wrestling much better. Like just amazing to watch. But you, as I said, we seen each other at promo class, and your promo on Ridgeway was insane. I'd love to know like the inspiration of that because it was fantastic.
I just got out a camera and I wanted it to be um just stripped back and real because I found in wrestling sometimes like it just creates its own stories, which is really cool. It's just like how it's cool how things work out. One of them was the match that I had with Chris Ridgway. So when I first started training at 13, he was like there in my first session. And this is talking like 8 years ago. Like no beard, like skinny, no tattoos. Or maybe yeah, he had like the big one on his chest and like maybe a couple of others, but like mad what he looked like back then compared to now. And like he taught me how to run the ropes in my first session. At that moment, yet did I know what was going to happen. Like off he goes to Japan and everything.
Yeah,
Like mad. Um, so yeah, like we used to train with Chris like every session, and then he ended up moving to Liverpool, somewhere that sort of area, just for wrestling and everything else. The place that we were at is proper out in the middle of nowhere, like isolated. Hours drive to the motorway, and yes, and then there was a couple of years where I was just stuck out training there. And then I moved to Manchester a couple of years ago, started training at Futureshock and everything. And then Chris has started training at Futureshock again. So it's cool because then I'm training with him again after like years of not. Um, and for it to, because we were supposed to have a match where we came from at KOW, but it just never worked out. And I mean, the other two lads that I came up with, Will and Lucas Neon, like they both got their matches with Chris, and then I just never got mine. And then like for it to years later, it's then me and Chris at Catch. That is just really cool.
you've got that history, so that's a perfect story right there. It's organic, and
Yeah,
well,
so that's what I mean. It just like creates itself. And so I just wanted to do a promo, not necessarily even, like Rat King, Angry Goblin Man. I just wanted at the very least to just explain like look at this cool story that has happened that you probably don't know about.
It's one of life really does just throw curveballs like that, doesn't it? Like serve a platter right there, perfect story. Just don't even need to think. It's just there. When you've come through such a long history of training together, you've gone away, come back, and you're back together again. It's massive, absolutely massive. Like the plan for me was to because I was talking to Charlie, I believe, because you had a match with Ridgeway at Catch, of course, and I was hoping to watch it because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it went up today on demand. I'm not certain. I was hoping to watch it beforehand, but I got called into work, and well, that kind of put a fire in that plan. So I would 100% track that down because Tu Byt and Ridgeway is a match that I would have loved to watch live, purely for the sounds, the kicks, and
they were quite loud. Yeah,
I can imagine. Talk us through like that match. It must have been like a special feeling, just being because I can imagine the atmosphere being insane.
Yeah, it was mental. So I mean, when I did the first Monday Night Catch, I thought I was going to be baddie because I'm a classic bad guy too. But anyway, I ended up coming out and everyone cheered, so I was goodie. And then ever since then, I've just been like a goodie. And then that match, like I've never been cheered like that in my life. It was wild. And like afterwards, I got like everyone did like a standing ovation and everything. And like that moment in my head, like looking out to the crowd and everyone's just like stood and clapping, and it's just mad. And to have Will there, who's my best friend and who I like ended up living with, and like him and his mum who like took me in and let me live in the house with them, like to have them there for that moment too was like great. And I think we got the show footage as wrestlers, so I've watched it back this week, and you can see at the end of the thing, I get out the ring and I go and hug them, and Jennifer's there too, and I hug Jenny too, and she's like tears streaming down her eyes. Oh yeah, it was pretty emotional. But it was just like one of them really cool moments that wrestling gives you. Also, the kicks were interesting. You should have seen the other guy.
They are special moments in wrestling, and the moments you can't really create necessarily. You can't fabricate them. The moments that you can't fabricate, that's purely organic, just 100% just emotion. And there's such beautiful moments in wrestling. It's what makes it so emotional for so many people. That's why we watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that crowd, they obviously don't know like my history or like my past or anything like that, or what I've grown up with or any of that sort of stuff. But like to me, that match like meant a lot, and you could probably tell from the way that it all happened. But yeah,
100% a match. I am like taking all the time out to watch because I almost predominantly work. I didn't work yesterday, which is today is Monday. Ignore me. I wasn't supposed to work today. I usually do work Mondays. It's usually one of the days that I'm almost always on. So getting it off is very difficult. I've been there without a shadow of a doubt, no even questions asked. But it's that's a match that you think of and think that's selling tickets no matter what the card is, and clearly the fans thought that as well. I didn't know you were well unintentionally face. I never look at you as a face.
Yep.
I like it though.
Fiery little goblin underdog man.
It's
great.
I love it.
Bite people and everyone's like, yes. Yeah.
That's
It's
great though.
because the first match was against Stillwell, and everybody hates Stillwell.
That's very true.
Yeah,
That's
I hate
very true.
Stillwell.
We all hate Thurwell. I say
Me
that.
too.
My only cat, Joe, he was actually quite cheered when he won the title. He'll go back to being booed straight away because nobody likes Thurwell.
Nobody, absolutely no one.
No.
But thank you for getting me as a babyface. Stillwell.
If you can do one thing, there you go. I wonder who is more hated, him or JJ Webb?
Him. Stillwell, definitely.
Ooh, big call, I think. There, big call. We might have
Only a
to.
joke.
We might have to. Well, get someone with a few more followers than me, anyway. But get someone to do a poll. Who's more hated on? Get a poll on Twitter. JJ Webb or Tom Thurwell. Be quite interested to see that. Oh, I've got a question saying, can you ever see yourself as a babyface? But that, yeah, I'll alter that one. Which one do you, from your experiences, which one would you say you prefer?
I like them both for different reasons. Probably more comfortable. Well, it's not that I'm uncomfortable being a face, but probably more comfortable being a heel because I've just done it since I was 14, basically.
Makes
I've never
sense.
really done face anywhere. I've done face for a couple of different promotions now. I like that too because I like firing up. I like that bit and hearing the crowd come back at me. And like having a crowd of people chant your name, as much as it's a bit ego filling, like it's pretty cool. But then
If you've got a
so
crowd
is
cheering your name,
pissing off an entire room of people.
yeah,
So,
that's something I can't wait to do.
I think for how it makes me feel, probably face because that's cool having a firing up and having the reaction and everything like that. In terms of like what I can do creatively, probably heel because I've done it more, so I know more ways of, like I can bite people very happily and like do all that sort of stuff and know exactly how to get the best reaction and everything like that.
It makes sense. It does make sense. I think I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, it's easier because I don't think so. But by human nature, it's easier by human nature to get someone to hate you than to like you.
Yeah.
That's just nature. But it's still very difficult. It's still an art form in and of itself to creatively get someone to hate you as opposed to just cheap hops.
Yeah,
Like
to get somebody to actually despise you rather than just superficially on the surface giving you a bit of hate.
exactly. Rather than be like, oh, he's good him, but yeah, boo. Like to get people to genuinely despise you is an art form in and of itself. Like at LWF, the Wrecking Crew, the fans hate them. Like there's a visceral hatred, and it's really great to see.
Have you ever been to Morecambe?
I want to. That's my bucket list to go to Odyssey.
You should see the hate that they give there. They're like everyone goes absolutely mental. It's insane.
Like this year, I'll be going 100%.
I've had fans like try to start fights with me just in the middle of shows.
Really?
Like I'm just in my entrance. They're just like trying to start a fight with me. And that's really not even a big deal to what other people have had.
Jesus.
Yeah, they just get so into it. Yeah.
That sounds mad. I remember
It's like
an AWS show at the Chorley Town Hall main event, I believe it was. One of the fans got up. It was no disqualifications. And one of the fans picked up this. I don't quite 100%. It happened very fast. But this fan picked up a kendo stick and squared up to Davey Getsky. Just got in his face. And we're just sort of like, what the fuck what's he doing? Like, I guess he thought, I think at first he thought it was like, part of the match. It's something else that was happening, but then you kind of realize it was just this fan like with a kendo stick probably getting in his face. Like, mate, what are you doing? He was very quickly just ushered out of the building, but why? what did he do?
Some people just get so into it.
It was weird, really
Like,
weird.
I respect the enthusiasm, but it's just chill out a little bit.
Dial it back a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very odd. But I can really get into a show. I don't think purely because I know for a fact more like 100% of wrestlers would beat the shit out of me. That's pretty much the main reason why I don't do that. Interesting. I got an interesting one. Something I'd be quite interested in hearing your opinion on. We've hit turn of the year. We're pretty much just getting straight started with 2022. Who would you think, male or female, or male and female, would be the ones to watch for 2022?
I'm always really bad at these because
there's so many.
there is so many. I give a list and then I like a couple of days after this, I'll think and I'll be like, oh, I should have said them. Should have said them.
Oh, but I did a list of the top 10 male and females to watch, and I missed out so many people. I just couldn't get on. It's so tough.
And like I'm so bad at remembering names and everything that like I cannot think of people in my head really quickly.
Yeah.
Like you have to give me like a week to prepare. But I've got two people who I think are a good answer. I did say this one on the podcast with Isaiah Quinn, but I'm going to say it again. Declan McCarthy. He's just really good. He's got a really good attitude. He's always down at training. I don't think a lot of people realize like how good he is right now, but give it a year or two and we'll all be going, oh my God, Dec's great.
He was in my list, actually. He was in my 10 list because I agree. I really do agree. I think he's one of those floating a bit under the radar.
Yeah, I'd agree. Just give him a chance to show what he can do, and everyone will be going, "Oh, actually, yeah, he's really good."
Yeah.
And again, like charisma and everything too, it's there. He's just an angry Irishman, and I love it. I'm living for it. And yeah, he's just always down at training. I think every time I'm there, he's there. He must live there, it's like in the walls. Yeah, he's just really good. Wrestling wise too, grappling, everything like that. He's sick. He's great. The other person I've got is Will Carter, who I referenced before. Might be a bit biased because he is my best friend, but he has been in a similar boat to me, and where we both came from KOW. Whereas there's nothing wrong with KOW, it's just right out in the middle of nowhere. If you want to like get out and do more shows and try and make it in wrestling, you are not going to be able to do it living in Barrow because it's just so out. You just can't get out the shows. You can't meet people. You can't get your name out or your face out or anything. Whereas I moved to Manchester a couple of years ago, and then I've started to get a little bit of traction now because I moved to Manchester. Will has just moved to Manchester in September. So like once he properly gets into the flow of it, once he's at training now, once he's got however many months of training under his belt, once he like starts properly getting into it and he's getting into the flow of it and everything like that, it'll be similar to what I went through, where he's going to get on more shows and everything. And people are just going to be like, oh, he's actually pretty good. I think he's got a lot of potential too.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I do look forward to seeing him. He sounds brilliant, and the wrestling scene we can't have too much talent on the scene. It's thriving so much right now. It's so great to see. And you and I both have seen who's training at the moment to then be that next step, and it's looking incredible there as well. So I think we're living in a great time for British British scene right now.
I think if COVID would like to leave, yeah, then I
Yeah.
would fully agree. Yeah.
That would be great. That would be fantastic. I think 2021 people were thinking, oh, 2020 is out of the way, COVID will be out of the way now. Unfortunately, we kind of wish that was the case.
Well, I'm very happy that we're not still in that like lockdown. You know that bit
Yeah.
where we were kind of like, okay, we're in lockdown still, and then we kind of went into a bit of a, are we still in lockdown? But maybe,
Yeah.
and then we were definitely not in lockdown anymore. I'm glad that we're definitely not in lockdown anymore,
Yeah,
because I
as
think
am I.
back to the before times, it was rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was dark. That was rough. Yeah, I mean, for everyone, like it was just shit time. It's unprecedented. Like none of us have really lived through like anything like this stuff with. So, but hopefully, touch wood, like this year will be good, and hopefully we won't be.
Hopefully,
Hopefully, it won't interfere too much. Like,
on a positive side, not in lockdown anymore, not isolating anymore either. Yeah, like I've got a house, got a roof over my head, I've got food, I've got money. I, I'm okay. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I've got it a lot better than a lot of people.
yeah.
If anything, I can just appreciate what I've got and then hope for the best.
That's
Yeah.
the attitude to have. That's exactly the attitude to have. I love that. Yeah, absolutely bang on. Do you have any goals or aspirations for the year? Be that short or long term?
Hmm. I just want to wrestle some good matches. That's my number one goal. Um, I just want to enjoy myself, have some good matches, wrestle some friends, wrestle some new people. Um, Long term goal is of course get signed. Be able to make a living off this. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just have a nice time. Trying to get across a bit more of the scene. I wouldn't mind wrestling a bit more too. You know, and being able to be one of the guys that like traveling up and down and just getting the reps in and getting better. I'd very happily like to do that.
That's perfect. I love that. Absolutely love it. Tu Byt, do you have any socials you would like to plug? Any shows you'd like to plug?
I will be on Odyssey Pro Wrestling in Morecambe on the. I'm so bad at remembering show dates. At the end of January, I think it's the 29th. Sure, it's the 29th. I'll double check.
You can
Yes, the 29th. I'm in the Rumble. I'm gonna win the Rumble and become the number one contender, and then win all of the titles.
you heard it here first.
I've heard it here first, yeah. And I will be at Catch Pro Wrestling on the Monday Night Catch on the 7th of February in one big tag match. And I'll leave it there. And then my socials, I've got at Tu Byt, which is TUBYT. For Instagram, it's TU full stop BYT. And then Twitter is TU_BYT. But if you just search my name, I'm sure you'll find me.
There we go. Tu Byt. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for everything. It's been great.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. And thank you too. See you later.